What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing a full, in-depth breakdown on one of the biggest talking points in hip-hop right now, the mounting pressure on Drake's OVO empire. For over 15 years, Aubrey Drake Graham has built something that goes way beyond music. We're talking about a complete lifestyle brand, OVO Sound, the clothing line, the owl logo that became a cultural symbol, festivals, merchandise, and big business moves. He was the guy who seemed completely untouchable, but in June 2026, a new lawsuit has the internet buzzing again with headlines like OVO collapsing and Drake empire crumbling. So today we're going to unpack everything step by step. The latest lawsuit, the financial numbers behind OVO, the impact of the Kendrick beef, the lingering gambling cases, what this all really means, and whether this is the beginning of the end or just a normal bump in the road for a massive brand. Stick around till the end because I want to hear your real thoughts in the comments. Let's start with the news that's fresh this week. On the 11th of June 2026, an investment firm called A.R.I, OVO Growth Capital 1 LLC, filed a lawsuit against October's very own ULC, OVO, in the Supreme Court of British Columbia in Vancouver. They're asking for approximately $4.6 million, plus default interest, legal fees, and other costs. Here's what happened, according to the court documents. Back in 2025, between July 14 and August 5, OVO issued 5 convertible promissory notes, totaling about $5.23 million. These were structured as 5-year convertible debt instruments with conversion rights, information rights, default remedies, and importantly, a contractual make-whole fee if the deal ended early. OVO allegedly defaulted on payments. In February 2026, they received a formal notice of default. In March, they entered into a forbearance agreement where OVO actually acknowledged the continuing defaults and that the debt was valid and binding. Then in May, they made a partial payment of roughly $3.8 million, but there's still a dispute over the remaining balance and that extra make-whole fee. As of the filing date, A.R.I says OVO still owes them at least $4,609,455.72. Now, let's be real, $4.6 million is not going to bankrupt Drake. The man is still worth hundreds of millions. But this lawsuit opens a window into how OVO actually operates financially. Court documents mention that OVO generated $72 million in revenue in 2024 and nearly $400 million cumulatively from 2019 to 2024. Those are impressive top-line numbers. However, the company has also been running at a loss, reportedly around $12 million in cumulative losses from 2022 to 2024. This shows a classic growth company picture: high revenue, heavy operating costs, staff, marketing, inventory, expansion, and sometimes tight cash flow that requires outside financing. Interestingly, this lawsuit comes at the same time as reports that Drake and OVO are in advanced talks to sell a 50% stake in the OVO brand to Authentic Brands Group, ABG, the massive licensing company behind Reebok, Champion, Sports Illustrated, and many other big names. If this deal goes through, it could bring professional management, global distribution, and fresh capital. Some see it as a smart strategic move. Others see the timing as a sign of pressure. To understand why this feels bigger than just one lawsuit, we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, starting with the cultural shift after the Kendrick Lamar beef. Back in 2024 to 2025, the feud between Drake and Kendrick wasn't just another rap battle. It became a cultural moment. Kendrick's Not Like Us dominated the charts, the discourse, and the memes. For the first time in a long time, the 6 God image took real damage. Accusations about culture, vulture, behavior, personal life, industry politics, all of it went mainstream. The internet turned Drake memes into a full-time hobby. Streaming numbers in certain periods slowed, some brand partners became more cautious, and the invincible aura cracked. That cultural hit had real business ripple effects. When your public image shifts from untouchable to vulnerable, it affects everything from sponsorships to investor confidence. OVO was always sold as a family and a collective, but like almost every big entertainment company, behind the scenes there are complex contracts, publishing splits, and 360-style deals. The current financing dispute is just one example of how scaling a celebrity-driven brand brings new challenges. On top of that, there are the older but still active legal issues from the gambling world. Since late 2025 and into early 2026, Drake has been named in multiple class action lawsuits involving his very public promotion of Stake, Us, the US version of the crypto casino Stake. The suits accuse him, Aiden Ross, and others of promoting illegal online gambling, misleading fans, including younger audiences, and in some versions even allege more serious claims involving RICO, racketeering, money movement, and possible artificial streaming boosts using gambling proceeds. These cases are civil, not criminal, and they're still ongoing. No final rulings yet, but they add to the overall legal expenses, negative headlines, and perception that Drake's business moves sometimes come with extra risk. Let's talk about Drake's lifestyle for a second. We all know the pictures: private jets, including that Boeing 767, the massive Toronto mansion reportedly worth over $100 million, constant high-level security, expensive music videos, OVO Fest, and so on. Maintaining that level of superstar presence is extremely costly. When you combine slower momentum in some streaming areas, cautious brand deals after the beef, rising legal bills, and the need to service debt, even a wealthy artist feels pressure to restructure or bring in new partners. This is exactly why the potential ABG deal is so interesting. Authentic Brands Group specializes in taking lifestyle brands and turning them into global licensing machines. If OVO sells 50%, Drake could cash out significantly while keeping creative control and expanding the brand far beyond what it is today. It could actually be a sign of maturity rather than desperation. So, is this the total collapse that some YouTube channels are hyping for clicks? Not really. Drake is still dropping music. His latest album, Iceman, was a big moment. He remains one of the biggest streaming artists on the planet, and OVO has built real revenue over the years. But 2026 does feel like a transitional year. The golden era of effortless dominance from the 2010s is over. Now we're in a more complex phase, where public perception, financial management, legal navigation, and strategic partnerships all matter more than ever. OVO started as a passion project tied to Drake's personal brand. Turning it into a sustainable, multi-hundred-million-dollar business while dealing with the scrutiny that comes with being one of the most famous people alive is incredibly hard. Most celebrity brands eventually face these moments. Some adapt and grow bigger, others slowly fade. What do you guys think? Is this just normal business growing pains for a massive empire, or are we seeing the beginning of a longer decline? Do you believe the ABG deal would be a smart move, or a sign they need cash? Can Drake bounce back culturally and business-wise? Or has the Kendrick beef permanently changed his position in the game? Drop your honest opinions in the comments. I read them all. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more factual breakdowns instead of pure reaction content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Stay informed, stay real, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.